Thanks for the support as a channel member, Nick Lemon. Champions League groups have been drawn. Somehow we're only second seeds for it. This is what happens after a couple of years of Thursday night football. But we were quarter-finalists last year. Bottom line, we've got a hard group. And today we play one of those hard group teams. Hello and welcome to Club 4, part 33 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have a home game against Benfica in the Champions League. Then we're away against Manchester United in the Premier League. Since you were last with me, we have maintained an unbeaten run that goes back quite some way now. In all competitions, we've not lost since the Champions League quarter-final against Manchester City last year. We've not lost in the Premier League since Chelsea last March. We're doing all right. And you can see there's some big results in here. One in particular sticks out, the 6-0 thrashing of Norwich. We also had a first goal for the club for Vance, who I think scored, might even have been in that game. It was, and it was a lovely goal as well. In fact, I think he's going to be a hero, so we're going to show you his first goal. But we played very well in this game, and this is Francis Vance scoring his first goal for Tottenham, actually making his Spurs debut before Harry Kane makes his return appearance. He did eventually play in the one of the rounds of the League Cup. Harry Kane missed a penalty in his chance to score in his first game back, but there is Vance scoring his first goal for the club, and a very nice goal it is too. And as you can see, also in amongst all this stuff, we've had a draw against Manchester City. We beat Monaco away from home as well in our first Champions League game, and we beat Barnsley as well. So the Premier League table looks like this. 7 games in, we're 5th in the league, but we are still unbeaten. We're the only unbeaten team left in the Premier League. 3 points off the top of the table. It's those couple of draws that are costing us top spot at the moment, but we're looking pretty good as an unbeaten team. And then in the Champions League, this is the group that we've got. So Benfica, Basel, and Monaco. The fact we've beaten Monaco away, I'm relatively confident. We'll see how we get on against Benfica though, because both Benfica and Monaco, I would expect one of them teams in a Champions League group with us, but not both. I mean, if we have a look at who Arsenal got, for example, in their group, how do we? There we go. So if we look at the groups, I guess Liverpool have got a very tough group as well. But Arsenal, I would say that's a simpler group. Manchester United, really quite easy group, I would say. That's a nightmare for Rangers. Borussia Mönchengladbach will struggle in that one. Chelsea, okay, I guess it's the Champions League. They're all quite hard groups. I'll stop complaining. This is the team we're playing against Benfica anyway. We've got Francisco in goal, a back four of Philippe, Rodriguez, Banfalvi and Kawamata. Vargas at the base of the midfield, just returning from injury. Injuries have been a bit of a theme. Kawamata's been injured. Carlos has been injured. Vermonti's still injured. You can see Rosso, who's out on loan, is injured. But there's just been lots of injuries. Jair picked up a slight knock. Philippe got injured briefly. You can see he's just recovering from an injury as well. There's been lots of it about. So Philippe, Rodriguez, Banfalvi and Kawamata at the back. Vargas at the base of the midfield. Gravenberch and Carter ahead of him. Gibbs White in behind. Carlos and Fernando. I think this is Gibbs White's first start for quite some time. In fact, that's not true. He played in the League Cup quite recently, but it's his first start in a proper game. A game that we actually care about is his first start for a long time. You can see Harry Kane right at the bottom there with a little red average rating next to him. He's only played that one game in the League Cup where he missed a penalty and got a 5.9 rating. That's what we're paying £170,000 a week for Harry Kane. I would expect us to carry on in the good form that we're in and pick up a victory in this game. Most of our injured players are slowly but surely returning to the team. The one that we're still really missing is Vermonti, but he should be back soon. With Jair could have started today, but he's just on the bench as a precaution more than anything. And Carter is in, and Carter scores, and that's our first attack of the game, first highlight of the game, and it's Tottenham 1, Benfica 0. We're a 5 to 6 kickoff. I knew there's a couple of 6 o'clock kickoffs in the Champions League every round, but I didn't know there was a 5:55 kickoff. But we are in the 5:55 kickoff. suggests presumably that Arsenal are also at home in the Champions League tonight, as we saw in the Premier League towards the end of last year. Stuff like that apparently doesn't matter, but the fact that we're just that little bit early, I mean, I could be talking nonsense, but that would be a logical reason for kicking off a team involving an English club at home before 6 p.m. because, you know, people aren't, imagine trying to get there from work. You finish work at 6 o'clock even. You're not going to get there. You've missed kickoff. You won't even get home in time to watch it on the telly. Vargas out to Kawamata. Kawamata trying to get a cross in, squares it for Carter, and Carter doesn't get his second of the game because Wesley Fernando is a goal-hanging swine, and who cares? It's his 5th goal of the season. Carter gets the assist. He should be happy with that. This is like every one of the cool kids on the playground at primary school used to score this goal all the time. It's going in anyway, but I'll just flick it on and claim it for myself because I score all the goals. Wesley Fernando is a playground bully. We've figured that out in today's video. Just before half-time, another corner, Gibbs White, cross comes over, Fernando is there to chase. He's wearing gloves with a short-sleeved shirt. Always the weirdest of combos, but he's just going to dribble forever to prove that he's not just a goal hanger. That's absolutely sensational from Fernando, and Gravenberch probably owed him a finish there because the potential assist was so very good. I am pleased with your performance out there. Keep it up. We've absolutely dominated that first half. I went into this game a little bit worried about Benfica. Looking at those stats, don't think I needed to worry because they've had only 36% of the possession, only 2 shots in the entire match so far, and it looks like a training ground exercise for us. And having said all that, Benfica get a goal back on the hour mark. And that immediately lets them straight back into the game. As easy as it's been for us for the majority of that first hour, there's now only 1 goal in it. And anything can happen now. There's some calamitous defending in there. Banfalvi kind of heads it into Philippe, who then nods it down into the path of the on-rushing Benfica forward. It's very poor defending all round. Let's see what we've got on the bench to just reassert ourselves on this game. Philippe, Sessegnon wasn't fully fit, but I think he probably could have been on the bench, but he's not. So we'll bring Jair on to play left back. He's done it a couple of times. Carlos can come off, and I'm really tempted to bring on Vance, but George has been playing very well in the absence of Carlos, and I think it's probably a little unfair of him to push him down the pecking order just because there's a wonder kid knocking around. And I know the comments section will be screaming, play Vance or he'll never develop. I get it. I know how it works, but I also want to win the league and win the Champions League this year. So I'm more concerned with doing that than developing Francis Vance. As I always say, the ones who are really, really good, Jair is a perfect example because he was in our team age 19. The ones who are really, really, really good, you don't have to artificially force them into the... There you go, there's George grabbing his 3rd of the season, our 3rd of the game. I'll try and make my point for the 3rd time as well. If a player is good enough, they will force their way into the team. I shouldn't have to move someone like George aside to let Vance in. If Vance is going to make it, by the end of this year, he'll have pushed himself above George in that pecking order and made it so I don't have a choice. I have to play him because he's that good. It's exactly what Jair's done, and we've seen so many other players do it over the years. We're going to take off Vargas, who is recovering from an injury. João Victor can come on and play at the base of the diamond in midfield for us. And you know what? I want to drop a little bit of praise. My moustache is tickling my nostril. I've got a moustache hair that's coming out at an unusual angle, and it's tickling the inside of my nose. And it's very distracting while I'm trying to make a video. And I want people to think I'm infected, and that's why I'm constantly touching my face. I'm not supposed to touch my face. Good job, I've got my hand sanitizer on hand. Oh, stop touching your face. Sort your moustache out, Kev. Oh, my word, it's so tickly. Right, I think that's solved that problem. Brr. And while all that's going on, Benfica have got another goal back. It's 3-2 now. There's 2.5 minutes of the game left. Looking at those stats, if Benfica find a way to come back and draw this game, I'm going to be really rather upset about it, because it shouldn't even be on the cards. We should be home and dry by this point. Gibbs White with a free kick. looking for George at the far post again, but he can't quite get there. There's Victor to find Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White back to Jair, playing at left back. What will they think of next? Gravenberch plays it into João Victor. Gibbs-White, you can see Jair really pushing on, wanting to do some Jair things. Kawamata, though, is going to do some Kawamata things. Just mocking Jair for the fact that he got to play in his preferred position. And, I mean, it's a goal Jair himself would be proud of. Another assist for Nick Carter, who's continuing to prove he was good value for what we paid for him in the summer, because I think that's 1 goal, 2 assists today. That'll do. That's a man of the match performance in an important Champions League game. So I was right about him all along when I forced him into the team at the Euros a year and a half ago. Right, Carter, here he is again, trying to prove how good he is. Slots it into the path of Fernando. It was going to be a proper assist from Carter to Fernando this time, but this time, because it wasn't laid up on a plate for him, Fernando can't apply the finish. I know he's good. I just like to pick on people. Jair with the throw. This must be the last highlight of the game. Gravenberch back to João Victor, who plays it forward, looking for Kawamata, who's in a crossing position, cuts it back to Carter. Carter shoots and could have had his second of the game. Nick Carter has had a very good game of football there today. I am pleased with that result. The defence was a little bit questionable at times, but let's not worry about them. We'll just focus on the fact that we've got 2 wins from 2 at the start of our Champions League group, and we are already looking very good to progress to the next round of the competition. Hopefully, we can continue to play well going forward and just tighten up the defence a smidgen for this big Premier League test away against Manchester United. Our 15-game Premier League unbeaten run is under threat now. Smidgen of a risk going into this game, because this is the first time all season we're using our more defensive version of the system that drops these 2 back a little bit, plays cautiously. Even when we were away from home against Monaco, we played the more positive version, because I forgot to change it because I wasn't really concentrating because the game was offline. So I hope this works. If we go to Man United, defend and still lose, I'll be very sad. Jair comes back in at right back. Rock comes back into the midfield, as does João Victor. Other than that, it's a very similar team to the one that played in the last game. We're just rotating a few players around. It's lovely having so many good midfielders. The fact that we can have Carter and Gravenberch sat down on the bench shows just how good the strength in depth we've got in central midfield is at the moment. Right, we assertively owe Manchester United for what happened last time we played them. Keith Crown isn't in the team. That's interesting. He must be injured because he's not even on the bench. That's a positive thing, I would say, because he's one of the best players in the world. So to not have him terrorising our fullbacks is only going to be a positive. Carlos plays it out to one of those fullbacks. It's Philippe on the left-hand side, looking to get the cross in. He does. It's a lovely cross, and Gibbs-White gets there just ahead of his defender and forces a very good save out the Manchester United goalkeeper, who I'm noticing for the first time in this save isn't David De Gea. So I guess he's finally too old and they've got a new goalkeeper. Was De Gea on the bench? No. So does that mean he's retired and moved on, or is he injured as well? Are we potentially playing against a reserve goalkeeper? I know I don't like to click on players during the game, but it's hard not to have a little look. They paid £34 million for him in the summer. So that's their new boy. That's their new keeper. And I'm wondering why he never once showed up on my scout reports. If there's a 22-year-old goalkeeper out there who can sign for Manchester United and go straight into their team, how do I not know about him? My scouts are supposed to be good. We were literally looking for a goalkeeper this summer to fit that exact mould, and such a thing did not exist. And now we're 1-0 down because I've ruined the game by clicking on an opposition player. And we all know that you're not supposed to do that. It's Jair as well, keeping the ball in when he really didn't have to, because he's not achieved anything by keeping the ball in there other than putting us under pressure, because he's let Tierney go past him because he's had to take himself completely off balance to keep the ball in play and just give it to him. There wasn't a Spurs player there. A little bit of naivety from Jair there, proving once again that he's probably not a fullback. We should probably convert him to a winger, but then we'd have to change the entire tactic and re-sign Jadon Sancho. And that didn't work the last time we re-signed him. Fernando is in here, though, for the equaliser and a second. But I tell you what, this keeper's all right, isn't he? I'm so annoyed. I'm going to sack all my scouts, because that was a world-class double save. I mean, Francisco's good, lovely, but even to stop this guy going to Man United for 34 million quid, I've got 78 million pounds left in my transfer budget because I couldn't find anyone to spend it on. We could have bought him and his brother. Right. Team talk. Frustrated now. We owe Manchester United after what happened in the last game. We're going to go back to the attacking system. We lasted a half. We've gone behind. We've gone 15 games unbeaten by attacking all the way. Perhaps we're now at the point where we've got enough quality where defending just is a little bit pointless. We may as well just try and outscore teams because we have got a lot of firepower. Although, as we've seen, not so much in a lot of matches this year, but in a lot of the episodes so far this season, we've been a little bit goal shy. It's like the players are afraid of you lot. Right, Gravenberch is going to come on for Gibbs-White to tuck in behind the strikers. And I'm so tempted to make a double change to the strikers. For now, we're just going to bring George on for Carlos. We've got both Carter and Vance, who could potentially come on as potential game changers. But I don't want to rush and make a triple substitution too early. Fernando's getting even worse. We left it 5 minutes. Francis Vance is coming on. A massive occasion for him, because we're showing a lot of faith in him here in a big game. Let's show some passion. Let's find an equaliser. I don't care who scores it. We're not really doing anything. We're not creating anything. Somebody do something. Right, Philippe finds George. Philippe again, looking to cross. Cross does come over. Gravenberch was there. It falls to Rott. Rott out to Vargas. Vargas looks up, skips past one man, plays it all the way back to Banfalvi, which might not be the right move. But here's Jair. Can he do some Jair things? He just runs into Kieran Tierney again. Tierney has had the better of him all day long, and now he's charging down the left-hand side for Manchester United. And there's a very quick counter-attack going on that we seem fairly powerless to stop. And Francisco, thankfully, does make the save. I don't think we've got time to get up the other end. There is less than a minute left. United have a corner. We need to just clear this. Clear it to Vance and have him go and score an equaliser and instantly make him a hero. It has taken Thomas Lemar 30 seconds to take that corner. Where's the yellow card referee? It's back out with Lemar again, and Jair trying to get the tackle in. It's not Jair. That was George making that tackle. And yeah, any chance we had of a counter-attack is gone. It's with Wan-Bissaka for Manchester United. And they're just knocking the ball around now. And hopeful ball forward. Francisco collects it. But I think as soon as he releases this ball, the final whistle goes. And our long 15-match unbeaten run is done. And there is no longer an undefeated team in the Premier League. So now we're just a team who aren't yet in the Champions League spots. It takes some of the shine off the positivity we had early on. We're supposed to be winning the league this year. We are still only 4 points off the top, but the team at the top are Manchester United, who we did look competitive against, but we have just lost to. Right, we will be back, as ever, tomorrow, and I'm thinking we'll do another Champions League and League combo, probably, depending on when it looks like we're going to qualify from our group, we'll do Monaco plus one of those, or Benfica. Benfica and Arsenal might be a shout, but that's quite a lot of football between now and then. We'll see if we can get as far as Benfica and Arsenal. I kind of want to show you a meaningful Champions League game. So if we've already qualified by then, we'll just pull it back a little bit sooner. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.